Dan, I want to prepare you for what you're about to get into with Andrew Perloff in the back row. He is about to unleash a system argument around the Warriors.
No.
I just want you to prepare yourself.
Okay.
They did not win these titles because they drafted these guys. They win these titles because they let Mark Jackson go and brought in Steve Kerr and a ball movement system that brought the best out of all their players. I'm telling you, all these guys would be worse on different teams because they move the ball so well. It's like the Spurs in the 2000s.
So Steve Kerr is irreplaceable.
Well, now that the system's in place, they could. There's a book out about how the analytics guys, the nerds, and Steve Kerr came in and changed the way they played basketball. And I think that's why these guys are maxing out their talents, because the ball moves so much.
Okay.
Kerr talks about passes. He says, I don't care about the players, 300 passes and we're going to win.
I have to have the right players to be able to have this system.
But do you honestly think they wouldn't win without Draymond? They could find guys who do similar things.
Okay, but they have Klay Thompson as well, and they have Steph Curry as well.
Those were good draft picks. I'm not going to lie to you. Those were smart.
They drafted two guys who are going to be Hall of Famers.
Right, but if you put
and
those
maybe
guys...
Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer. So 3 guys you drafted?
Yeah, but there's no way Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer if he was drafted by Detroit. It's just not going to happen.
Well, there's other guys that, are along for the ride, too, that won championships, that wouldn't have won championships. I mean, would Scottie Pippen be a Hall of Famer if he played for another team? No, he wouldn't, because he wouldn't have championships. So, like that, then you get into a silly argument there.
Pippen's way above Draymond. I mean, isn't he? Pippen's one of the 50 greatest players of all time.
Because he won 6 championships, because he played with Jordan. He's a great player. There have been a lot of great players, but that doesn't mean he would have been a Hall of Famer. Because you won titles, you played with Michael, and you were a very good player, that's why you're a Hall of Famer. But as far as the system goes,
I just see these guys who are scrubs elsewhere coming to Golden State. All of a sudden, they know how to play. Like Nick Young this year, JaVale McGee.
Well, don't use those 2 guys. I mean, those guys had moments. They had moments where they get 4 points, 6 points, 8 points.
You go back the last 5 years, it just seems like their system gets the most out of their guys, much like Popovich in San Antonio.
Why doesn't every other team, employ that same system?
Watch the next 5 years. 5 years, every team's going to try and do it.
Wait, well, what happened the last 3 to 4 years?
Well, the Rockets came. They're trying something, fast tempo system.
You do this with the system. Why don't other NFL teams follow what the Patriots do?
Look around the NFL. All they're doing is hiring former Patriots executives trying to replicate.
They haven't been able to replicate it.
The Eagles sure did. They're the Patriots light. They took Chris Long and LeGarrette Blount and said, we're going to be exactly like the Patriots, and it worked.
Do you really think Chris Long and LeGarrette Blount were the reason why they won a Super Bowl?
No, but the Eagles, I think, were philosophically affected by the Patriots. They've talked about it. Howie Roseman's like, yeah, we want to be like the Patriots. We're trying to be like the Patriots.
But how long have the Patriots been doing this, their system? And how many teams have followed? How many teams have tried to do it and couldn't do it? Looks pretty simple. Interchangeable wide receivers, interchangeable running backs, interchangeable linemen. But you got one constant with the coach and the quarterback.
Well, he keeps changing his system, but 2 tight ends, the Patriots do it. All of a sudden, everyone does it. There's so many little things. It's a copycat league. Belichick's just so good that he stays ahead.
When is somebody ahead of Bill Belichick here?
Well,
for 20 years, nobody's been ahead of Belichick. Why?
Some teams have gotten him. He doesn't win every year.
But not the system. Everything to you is a system.
Yes, very much so. Government, everything. Entertainment, it's all based on the systems, not the individual talents. We're just cogs, Dan. I'm just...
But I look at you guys as
good one, Andy.
Individual talent, not, just a system.
Of course, but I'm just saying, like...
Are we a system? Well, don't you have to be successful, I think, before you're...
Ooh, we are.
And we didn't win a sports Emmy.
Oh, we're wildly successful.
Wildly successful.
We are. Look at the run we're having.
Yeah.
What about coach? I mean, do we underrate coaching and all
We
this?
brought about a merger. I think that's what they were all fighting over is the Dan Patrick Show.
Hinged on us.
Yep. And the judge ruled that AT&T, Time Warner, that you can share the Dan Patrick Show. Yes, McLovin.
Greg Popovich. You a big Popovich fan? What was he doing all these years?
Is that a system?
Yes.
You know what the system is? I got David Robinson and Tim Duncan. That's a system. You're a knucklehead. You and your system.
That's hardly a hot take to say Greg Popovich is a great coach who maximizes the talents of his guys.
I don't even know what we're arguing anymore. I don't. But don't tell me that Golden State, they just all of a sudden said, Steve Kerr was borrowing from a couple of different coaches. He borrowed from Popovich. He was borrowing from D'Antoni. He borrowed from three different coaches and made it into his style of play. And I'm going to guess it must be pretty easy that everybody can replicate that. Everybody should be shooting 38-foot jumpers like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant.
Isn't that the trend now? I mean, the analytics say shoot more three-pointers.
We've never had more disparity between the best team in the league and everybody else and the worst team in the league than we have right now. You would think if everybody can look at this process and this system and go, hey, let's try to do that, then they would do it. And nobody's been able to do that. They're not even close. What happens is when teams think they can do it, you see how difficult it is to do it on a nightly basis. And that's what Golden State does. Here's our system. Try to do it. Good luck. And I know it's a copycat. We're in a societal viewpoint of let's try to replicate what we just saw. Our team's going to look at the Eagles and go, let's be like the Eagles. Remember The Greatest Show on Turf? You had these teams that were trying to replicate what you had with the Rams and Kurt Warner. You can't do it unless you have the pieces in place.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.